Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another Rage video, where tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving forward to finally talking about Avenged Sevenfold. I only really started listening to Avenged Sevenfold only very recently, and Sevenfold is, I think the best way to describe Sevenfold, in all honesty, is that it's kind of a bit like Disturbed, but what Sevenfold does better than Disturbed is it's sort of like less showy off stuff, and it's just Sevenfold just doing what they do, because there are moments in metal, ladies and gentlemen, and alternate rock, punk, in every music genre there's something very distinctive about any group. It's not just about a spectacle. Sometimes it is about the talent behind it. And despite the fact that this is clearly Overkill's logo with the skull with the wings on it, there's definitely something I'd say genuine about Sevenfold. That's how I would describe it. I had a mate in secondary school. Throughout all the years I knew him, he always had this satchel with Avenged Sevenfold on the side of it, and he had that thing for nearly 7 years. So he must have known something was up to have watched him carry that thing around for years, and now we're about to find out for ourselves. So. And I also just love the title anyway, Hail to the King. And apparently if the rumour behind this song is true, then I think we should just play the thing, shouldn't we? So, if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, links will all be in the description down below. Let's begin. Hail to the King. In 3, 2, 1, and... See what I mean?
Your tongue, I'll have it cut from your head. Save your life by keeping whispers unsaid. Children roam the streets, now orphans of war. Bodies hanging in the streets to adore. Royal flames will carve a path in chaos, bringing daylight to the night. Death is riding in the town with armor. They come to take all your rights. Hail to the King, hail to the world, kneel to the crown, stand in the sun. Hail to the King. Blood is spilled while holding keys to the throne. Born again, but it's too late to atone. No mercy from the edge of the blade. Dare escape and learn the price to be paid. Let the
Okay, sorry, I know how this is a very strange place to pause, but it's lines like that. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to Sevenfold. Dare escape and learn the price to be paid. You want to know? Dude, I friggin' work 67 hours a week at my job. I think I know fine well what it means, because I get paid for having no social life, no friends to like talk to in person anymore. That's what it's like. That's like, in fact, I was going to pause this a lot earlier, but this is the kind of stuff you would see Motorhead writing literally all the time. And Motorhead churn out classic after classic after classic. Avenged Sevenfold, it would not, if, and besides, even if not Motorhead, then I reckon that Sevenfold were clearly inspired by some of the great rock and metal groups of the past, like Sabbath, Saxon, maybe, oh god, like obviously Motorhead. I'd throw Motorhead absolutely in there. Maybe Judas Priest as well, because let's face it, Judas Priest have been around the block forever. It feels like a great classic song. You know what I'm trying to say? A sort of song you realise, like, you've almost heard this sort of thing all your life, but it sort of has the distinct benefit of the fact that it is really its own thing. It was made... because if somebody else wanted to make a song like this, they would have done it a very long time ago. And you just... even in the very slow build-up, like, a whole minute into the song, and it's the... dun, 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 it's a slow build-up because it lets you just enjoy songs like this, because you realize it gives you exactly what you want and what you've always wanted. I'm going to go with the always wanted approach, because sometimes people do not know what they want until they get given it. And that's what Hail to the King really is like. It's the woman you never realized you wanted but was always there. It is the purest joy, like a glass of beer. It's maybe no better than any other, but it is what it is. Absolute perfection in a glass. And this is coming from the guy who spent almost this entire year sober. But I do know what it tastes like, and I know what this sounds like as well. Arrows black out all the lights. Death is riding into town with armor. They come to grant you your rights. Hail to the king. Hail to the one. Kneel to the crown. Stand in the sun. Hail to the king. You know what? I would literally just make the point right now of, is there any need to say any more? Because what else really do you need to say about a song like Hail to the King? It is just awesome simply just because it's awesome. But do you think... I somehow I don't particularly think like that's going far enough. Although I'll say this, I think it's fair to say that if I was to say anything else about this song, I feel like it's not so much that I'm doing a disservice to it, but rather I feel as if like I'm trying to build it up as good to something even better. Because could I even say that it's one of their best? Well, my knowledge about Sevenfold is very limited, unfortunately, so I would have to check out plenty of their stuff. I mean, stuff like A Little Piece of Heaven might be up there, and This Means War sounds very convincing. Nightmare, I heard, is one of their it's an absolute banger as well. But to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, if it's anything like Hail to the King, then you know that Sevenfold is going to be with us for quite a while. And we here have a song from M Shadows. Hail to the King is an homage to all the music that the band loves. I thought like I said, it sounds like they definitely went, window shopping or even just bought the friggin' thing. Because there's like Motorhead, there's Judas Priest, there's a bit of Saxon involved as well, and I don't even know who else you could like really include, because I feel like those three guys, and I was maybe Manowar, maybe possibly Manowar, because Manowar, ladies and gentlemen, I've said this before, but I'll say it again anyway. It's not only the best thing to ever come out of New York City, that is a fact, even more than Jay-Z. Manowar means, I think, more to music than I think any pop group that's come out of the last 10 years, going as far back as Little Mix. I think Manowar has contributed more than I think Little Mix has done in 10 years for however long Little Mix goes on for. And that's bad because one of those members is from the Northeast, my home territory. Anyway, Hail to the King is a question about how society sees itself. From day one, people have elected kings and leaders. People have followed presidents and they cry over who the new pope is. Sometimes you've got to step back and say, what are we doing here? Why do we need all these people to tell us how to run our lives? That's a great... that is a really good one. Because strangely enough, the thing I was going to say, ladies and gentlemen, is that if we go through a line, let's just go for no mercy from the edge of the blade. Some people will fight at the very literal death to each other, just so that they can be on top. Like, there are some people who will go to no ends in the pursuit of power. Some people, however, in the more democratic sense, will utilize thought and logic. But, however, ladies and gentlemen, we find that we have no need for guns, bullets, and blades. Our words are sharp, and they slice more necks than 1,000 guillotines, from London to the outer regions of Singapore. Let's think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Words are more deadly than not only the guillotine, but the machine gun, the cannonball, the spears, and fire sticks. They do more harm than I think we could possibly ever realise. Prove me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Prove me wrong. Or we'll throw the cat o' nine tails in there as well. We may as well, since we're sort of on a roll. So, but the thing I want to like almost knock Sevenfold a little bit is that, well, they present the idea that if we're going to hail to the king, then why not become the king? Why don't we stand on top? Why don't we do stuff like that? We don't have to descend into the grades of monsters, but surely, ladies and gentlemen, there are ways of being on top without literally slaughtering people. In fact, I thought about it, and I think, is there at all a possible way to do that without trampling on the backs of the bruised, as it were? Is there any way to really ascend through it, without deviation, without deception, without being, as the Latin call, an argent provocateur? And personally, I think there is. Some people get elected, some people rise quite naturally through a sense of like charm and charisma. Sometimes, however, ladies and gentlemen, I like to go for the idea that I'm sort of like both. I could see the optimism and also the realist. And all I could say right now, ladies and gentlemen, is that, well, at the very least, Sevenfold have brought back a little bit of poetry to proceedings. They've tried to present the idea that it's not only is it more like graphic and more expletive, but it's also as powerful as they're making it out to be as well. Because Hail to the King, it may not be like the most earth-shattering of songs because it's sort of played as almost an homage to some of the band's favorite groups. But I think it was absolutely intentional for it to be like that. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Because, let's face it, some of my absolute favourites, they're not shy away from talking about monsters, dictatorships. Rainbow Warrior, for example, by White Lion, almost tells this beautifully sad story about this great warrior, which, yes, I know the Rainbow Warrior is only a boat, but it probably meant more to Greenpeace and probably meant more to White Lion than maybe we will ever know. Or maybe the idea of kingship, well, no, not kingship, of leadership, means very literally dominance and power. I mean, Boris Johnson said when he was only 6 years old that he wanted to be world king when he grew up. It seemed like a bad omen, and 56 years later, he did it. Well, I think it's like 58 or 57 or something like that. The point is that it happened, and I'm certainly not going to hail or salute to him. No way, Jose. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this reaction to Hail to the King by Sevenfold. You can guarantee you're going to be seeing a lot of Sevenfold on this channel if it's as good as this. Although it couldn't help them to choose maybe a different logo, but yeah, I'm going to start arguing about a logo of all things. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I will hope to see all of you guys again in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye for now.